Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrect 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details, so assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hefric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Rena's Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrect 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Rena's Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Rena's Alma, but it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world, Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Xion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Xion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me, and gently took my hand. You didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Daeq Faezol.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate, ever.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
No, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renaissance using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength, it's that it's sentient too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renaissance, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example, but with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Always good to be back in familiar territory.
I see someone who looks troubled about something.
a little compassion can make all the difference.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, Why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell? You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Yes!
Excuse me!
Hey!
Really now?
What?
I see. Agreed.
Very nice.
Dohalim? The line of researchers is getting longer.
Perhaps I should have put more thought into this before accepting.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Let's see what's going on around here.
Yeah, there might be someone who could use our help.
Yeah! Hey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah! Hmm? Just great.
I guess... Thanks.
Huh?
Well... Hmm? All right.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I guess.
Whew.
Got it.
We've reached our destination.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Is this the barrier that's keeping the Zoogle in that Nath mentioned?
Looks like it. Our Zoogle pal should be on the other side.
This barrier is weird. It looks old and half-finished. Plus, he said it was okay to break.
I mean, we won't need it anymore once the Zoogle's gone, right? So what does it matter?
I thought I was used to fire by now.
Did they really think that barrier was enough for a Zoogle like that?
It was. That thing was sturdier than you give it credit for.
Really? So that's the Zoogle, huh? This should be a piece of cake.
Don't get careless, Law. What's that huge Zoogle over there?
Stay far away from that thing, Rinwell.
Brace yourself! This one's tough!
Bet that shell's hiding something tasty.
Take it!
Forgive me.
You'll pay for that!
Weak point. What would I do without you?
I don't know what. Its armor's too strong.
It'll split it open!
Be my guest.
Get to the way!
Vacuum blade! The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
I owe you. Shield from calamity. No further!
Sleep now.
There!
Here goes!
Denied!
Don't mind if I do. Wind Astral, more with that heat. Where are you
They
going?
smite with
Let
lightning
Astral
blade.
illuminate the dark. Come forth.
I'll bring you back your way. I can carve through armor!
Not done yet!
I don't even know the word defeat.
Raging Cascade!
Take this!
Dance in the wind! Sleep now! Healing Circle! I'll be saving you! Annihilation Storm! You'll soon see about that!
Die! Consuming wildfire! Water, hear my call!
Bloody power! Negative gate! Shattering the pieces! Attack time! Now or never! Take this! Power surges through me!
Condemnation!
Captivity!
This one's all mine! Burn it hell!
Let's go! There you go! Don't let up! I'm ready!
Double demon bang!
That'll bring you down!
Wind Astral!
Straight up!
Prototype field!
Not a
Prepare
chance!
to be sealed! No further!
Here I come!
Here's a healing arm! Dance in the wind!
Here I come!
It's in your hands now.
I'll be
Stay away from my friends!
By the
I
power
can
of
carve
water!
through armor!
I'm sorry.
Pierce! Here I come! No! It can't end here!
Judging by the stench, I'd say the animals at the ranch are all grown now.
That was quite the little adventure we went on.
Right!
Leo Temple. Isn't that where Shion was being held?
Shh. Wasn't it beautiful? I can't wait for this.
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but... You sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, You know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but... I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Shion. But that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right?
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renan and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the? An ambush?
Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zoogle?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zoogle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard!
We've reached our destination.
Oh.
Just great.
Cheers!
Cheers! What?
Nice try, you two. But
Never.
Wait, something's wrong.
I couldn't catch it.
Oh no. This is just like what happened before. Alphen!
I'm alone.
What can I do to get her to snap out of it? There aren't any thorns this time. Oh, I've got it!
Alphen?
Shion, you're not alone. You've got all of us. And it wasn't just one bouquet either. There's also this one from me. So please, don't give up. We'll fight this together. Shion!
You dummy! That's not what I was upset about. How many times do I need to tell you not to blindly rush into things? That said, it does make me feel better. Even if your bouquet is just a weapon named after one.
I'm just glad I could help. And I made another one to go with it, so it wouldn't be lonely either.
You never cease to amaze me, Alphen. Seriously.
Feeling better now, Shion?
I'm sorry I lost my cool like that.
Don't worry. It's It's not like I have any room for criticism.
Being a grown-up isn't easy, is it?
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Lightning! Resonate with the earth!
Holy
Here!
Damn it! Back in...
The fray! Annihilation! Hear me!
Shield from calamity.
Megasonic thrust! Strike!
Barrier!
Hear my call! Joker! Armor won't save you!
Resonate with the
Water! Hear my call!
Here! This'll come in handy.
Leave the chargers to me!
Deny! I can do this. Here goes! Not in your dreams!
Try harder! My turn!
Mega Ray! Annihilation!
Megasonic thrust! On your knees! Seven wings! Here I come!
Water! Hear my call! If it's in the sky, it's mine! Now!
Shield!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Light astral
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Oh, violet guardian wind! Carve now through all healing! That's my cue!
Shut him down! Not today!
You can't get out of this!
Will this
Armor won't save you!
Crossblade!
Far enough!
Healing now!
Okay, here I go. Try harder! Not a chance! Severing Blade! Soaring
I'm ready!
there! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration! Regenerate!
Megasonic Thrust! Vacuum Blade!
Elucidate!
Don't mind if I do! Raging annihilation! Swarming flame of fury! Burning! Flame roar!
Vacuum Blade!
Sky is mine! Raging cascade!
It's on!
This is it!
Not today!
Sleep now! More for the stockpile! Healing
Take this!
Tempest swirl!
Megasonic Thrust!
Illuminated dark! Come on! Hurry, glimmer!
Air
Only
pressure!
land!
Raising you apart!
Megasonic Thrust! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years, no, even before that, just how many people, Renan or Danan, do you think have ever seen this?
regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
A six-armed giant. Is this the Zoogle from the request?
It's not only alive, but completely uninjured.
We'll just have to see for ourselves if it's really as ferocious as they say.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Now you see what
This
I
is
can
gonna
do!
need all of us together.
Exploit the enemy's weakness!
Glacial spear.
Vacuum blade! From beyond, this one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Done! I'll leave it to you!
I owe you, Theon.
Healing is what my arch
Being
do best.
interrupted.
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
Vacuum blade!
No further.
Stay away from my friend!
The flames will roar. This one's mine. Burning.
Burn in hell!
I'll bring you back from death to this.
Vacuum blade!
Here, resuscitate me.
Anything in armor is all
No
mine!
rest for the wicked.
Hold on to your heart. Here I come. Searing flame. Reload. I'm out of ammo. My astral energy.
No time for a great
When it is
night.
ice.
Vacuum blade!
Here.
It's too much.
Take this!
I'll heal you all.
There!
Raging storm.
Here.
Banana.
Harder! Not here! No! Can't end here!
I couldn't make it in time.
Holy crystal. Holy I'll bring you back from death to this.
Demon Land!
I'll bring you back from death to this. Who's scared?
Breath of life!
Heal
my
my
weary companion!
Anything in armor is all mine!
fury.
From beyond, imbue this vanquished sword with life!
There's still got some fight left in me.
This should do it!
Let them mark air.
Shine! Radiant light! Force of Shine! Radiant light! Force of regenerate!
I owe you one. Illuminate the dark. Blah, blah, blah. Hear me. Flame of fury. Burning. Illuminate the dark. Hear my call. Holy flare. Holy land.
You're mine!
Nothing gets by me. Just what I needed.
You require a hand.
Raging
Take
storm.
this!
Annihilation.
Not today!
Don't mind if I do.
Breath of life! Heal my weary companion! Armor won't save you!
Glacial spear. I can't hold on much longer.
Here I go!
Breathe, Lancer. Dance in the
Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration! Regenerate!
Thank you, Gohoni.
I only did what any other would.
I think you're nicer than you let on. Here's a healing.
Everlasting darkness! Negative take this!
Illuminate the dark.
No further!
Holy ground. Holy rain. Flame of fury.
Can you take it? Unlock!
Hear my call. Illuminate the dark.
Vacuum blade!
Where are you going?
Burn in hell! Shine! Radiant light! See what I can do! Ready to go!
Annihilation. Far enough.
Regenerate!
You're mine.
Free from regret.
Steel, out of ammo. I'm all get on there together. War with that kick from. Searing flame. Reveal.
No further!
Got it. Water. Here. Now's our chance. Holy roll. Hear me. Flame of fury. Burning. Water. Hear my call. Blood. Don't mind if I do.
You picked the wrong fight!
Lightning evil.
Vacuum
Dance in the
blade!
wind.
answers to me! Denied!
Castle!
Hear that call! Thunderblade! Illuminate the dark! Here's evil! Holy land!
Deity!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Lunar
Resonate with the earth.
energy! Dance in the wind!
Megasonic thrust!
Now,
Ignite!
On your
I never miss! Get out there with the others! Mega wave!
Vacuum blade!
Bring astral energy!
Watch yourself. I sense incredible power.
Take this!
Glacial spear! Here's the mind if I do!
Resonate with the earth!
Oh, violent dark wind! Cars!
You may be strong, but I'll never back down!
Illuminate the dark!
You'll find no mercy!
Demon land!
Here, let me help.
Thanks, Sheila.
Be careful not to overdo it.
One side. You go.
Illuminate the dark!
Yours to be let free! Bloody holiday! Negative
Back into the fray! Hear the flame of glory!
Forgive me. This is my fault.
Please now. I'm ready to get you all tucked away.
Forgive me.
anything in armor is all mine!
Death's abyss! In here! More resistance time! Magic is in!
Not
Holy
done yet.
land! One more time! Healing! I'll turn you back from the shining stars of light! Arctic coming through! Radiant blood!
Surprise
Here!
my downfall.
My astral dance! Here's the healing arm! Air thrust!
Try harder!
Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration! Breath of life! Feel my weary companion! Cure!
Eat this!
Elusive deity!
That'll bring you down!
Begin!
Vacuum blade!
Tornado drive!
Can you take it?
Double demon blade!
Hold on to your heart! Here I come!
Soaring take this!
Can't move!
Don't give up!
Now
I'll bring you
what
back
I can
from
do!
death!
Can you take it?
Illuminate the
Come
dark!
on.
Not done yet!
Elusive deity!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy land! Illuminate the dark! Burning star! Glimmer! Here! Holy land! Burning strike! Glacial spear! Here's evil!
Can't move!
Come forth!
Death from the wind!
Holy land!
Can't get out of this! Shine! Radiant light!
Sleep now! I never miss!
Shattering pieces! Attack them!
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Far enough!
Glacial spear! It's showtime! Freeze!
Breath of life!
Hit!
Heal my weary companion!
Go!
Cure!
Don't mind if I do! By the power of
Eat this!
annihilation! Mega ray! By the
Vacuum
power
blade!
of
Grind you into dust!
Turn
from the
on
wind!
station!
Photon
Double
blast
demon
raging!
bang!
Rending you
Still!
apart!
Take this!
Spread!
Bloody
Watch yourself.
Strike!
I sense incredible
Look
power.
sharp, everyone!
Hear my call! Spread!
Doubling wind!
No!
Can't get here!
Don't leave me!
Anything in armor is all mine! Weary companion!
Thunderblade!
I don't even know the word defeat.
Illuminate the dark! Holy land!
Imbue this vanquished soul!
Nothing
gets by me!
Here's a healing
Far
arm.
enough!
First aid!
Not done yet!
This one's mine! Dance
Where
in
are
the
you
wind!
going?
Megasonic thrust!
Glacial wind! Here's evil!
Try harder! Not a chance!
Illuminate the dark! Magic is in! Holy land! Hold on to your heart! Here I come!
No further!
Illuminate the dark!
Shine! Radiant light! Holy regeneration! Regenerate!
Resuscitation!
Take
Sorry to
this!
trouble you.
I'm not done yet! Shine! Radiant light! Yes, regeneration! Regenerate! Right to the fray!
Mega Ray! Back into the fray! Reveal!
Leave the charges to me!
Deny! Blackened blade! Back to the
Mega Ray! Rain down and purify all!
Mega Spintal! Vacuum blade! You picked the wrong fight!
Wait now!
Mega Sonic Thrust!
Lightning!
Here!
Steering flame! Release
Internal
energy!
devastation!
Whoa! Hey! One at a time! Here goes!
You'll pay for that!
I'll bring you down! Rain down and purify all! Radiant
Vacuum blade!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Well, we beat it in the end.
Let us harvest what we can use and take it with us.
Built for the sake of it and then cast aside. How sad.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Why are you staring at me?
I could ask the same thing.
So this is how the Sovereign and Maiden are supposed to look. You two go great together.
Law, come stand between us.
Oh, sure. You want me to put something white on as well?
Of course she doesn't.
Take a closer look, Xion. It's a miracle.
What are you talking about?
This outfit, it's already got blue accents on it.
So I see.
I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too, especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Nagal used to say all the time that the power of food is subtle, yet profound.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? For whatever reason, I find I don't worry nearly as much when I've got a full stomach helping me out.
That's why you shouldn't be such a picky eater.
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like on your plate when you're done.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food. It was such a waste not to eat at all. You needed every last scrap of energy.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat, we all did what we could to make it taste good and enjoy what we had.
That definitely explains a lot about why you cook the way you do, Kisara.
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like. You must be used to food being handed to you on a silver platter.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from that at all.
Although, there was one experience that does come to mind.
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals and fish, I was rather taken aback.
You just ate whatever was in front of you without even thinking about it?
That's a silver-spooned elite for you.
Your cooking has really improved, Shion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Shion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing.
Hey, Alphen, why do you like spicy food so much anyway?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I couldn't feel pain, it gave me that kick I was craving.
But now that you can feel pain again, wouldn't your tastes have changed?
Did you like spicy food when you were younger?
Not as much as I do now. At some point, it just became something almost like an addiction, I guess.
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary food, you cannot help but seek out more unusual fare.
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes. Although I won't deny that you definitely have a thing for exotic food. The stranger, the better.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Alphen.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself. It helps you last longer when you're on the move.
We all know you're a quantity over quality kind of...
What was that?
Nothing. I lost my train of thought.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of food most Renans are. Could be it's got something to do with the way she grew up.
That's so me! Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. All meat, all the time!
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish because she can catch them herself.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with something long enough, it comes naturally to you.
I like fish just fine, but what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade. It reminds me of what my mom used to make.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of meals for younger kids, and they said the same thing.
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the foods they like say a lot about the way they've lived. Rinwell, mind if we chat a little? I'm surprised to see you up reading so late. What have you got there?
Oh, it's a book about magic. I was hoping I'd reach the end of this chapter before I went to bed.
I'm impressed you can read all that tiny text without drifting off.
It's easy. Honestly, the subject is so interesting, it keeps me wide awake. Although I have to admit, the more I read this book, the more I realize just how much I still have to learn. I hate not knowing it all, so it pushes me to keep learning as much as I can so I can be a real expert.
So that's why you're studying by the campfire every night, huh? You've really changed, Rinwell.
Really? I don't feel like it.
Remember how you used to be when we first met in Calaglia?
Sure, but that's because I was still hiding a lot from you guys. Am I really all that different aside from that?
Definitely. It's the difference between a rock and the sun.
Are you saying I used to be like a rock? That's not something you should use to describe a girl, Alphen.
My bad. But the comparison is still apt. You used to not be open with us about your magic at all. And now look at you.
Well, I guess you may have a point. I used to hate studying magic because my parents made me do it. And after everything that happened, I felt like it brought nothing but trouble. But now, I don't think it's so bad after all. Maybe I really have changed more than I thought. All magic is simply astral energy combined with knowledge. It's neither good nor bad by itself. It all depends on how you use it. Saying it out loud, I guess I finally made peace with it.
I think you have Law to thank for that.
What? Why him?
I mean, he was kind of the one who...
Nope, he's got nothing to do with it. None. Zilch. Nada. Nothing.
If Law heard that, he'd be pretty bummed, you know.
You're crazy. I don't see why he would be.
Are you saying you'd rather he wouldn't be? I'd say the fact you can get so worked up about things now is another sign you've changed.
Sounds like someone wants me to put on a little magic show.
All right, all right. I'll take my leave before I say anything else that might get me into trouble. Just make sure you aren't staying up too late, okay?
Ugh, I'm not a little kid anymore. Yeesh. Though actually, it felt kind of nice hearing that. I wonder why. Ooh. I'm counting on you, Alphen. I want to go back to bed.